This is episode number 27 of the Fit Traveler video blog. The title of today's session is probably going to get some people's attention. It's called Managing the Bar Scene. And as we know in business, the bar scene comes into play on a lot of different occasions. So first, let me tell you about what we're not going to be addressing in this session to go ahead and set the expectations for you. We're not talking about whether you should or should not drink. That's your business, not mine. We're also not talking about if you have a fit lifestyle, but you like to go out on the weekends and participate in the bar scene. We're not addressing that today. I'm the last person that should be talking about that. I'm a lot of years removed from that scene, so I wouldn't do any good to speak to you about that. What we're talking about is in the business setting as business professionals, how you manage that bar scene that comes up in events pretty often. If you're in any kind of business, you likely come across some sort of bar scene event, maybe once or twice a month, maybe less frequent, just depending on your type of business. If you are a business traveler, you probably come across this multiple times each week. It's just kind of a nature of the beast. You are going to a business meeting, or maybe after a business meeting, y'all are gonna have dinner. And it's very common for them for there just to be an invitation of, hey, we're gonna meet down at the bar before dinner to grab a drink. Then you're at dinner and there's wine and there's drinks and whatever. And then there's after dinner, there's the nightcap. Let's go back to the bar for a nightcap. Okay, so these events are regular occurrences for business travelers and business professionals in general. At a lot of companies, we'll do some sort of company happy hour, whether it's them putting it on or one of their vendors putting it on or a client putting it on or whatever it may be. So that's what we're talking about today, is as a business professional who has a fit lifestyle or is adopting a new healthy lifestyle, how do you manage the bar scenes, okay? So I'm going to assume, for the purposes of this session, I'm going to assume that you've chosen to participate in the bar scene. So when somebody says, we're gonna go meet for a drink, you are actually gonna go and participate, okay? Maybe you have chosen not to go or to go and not to drink, and that's all good. We're talking about the times when you have gone, when you're gonna go and you're gonna participate in the bar scene. Okay, so that kind of sets some context for where we are. Now let's paint the picture that you have this fit lifestyle and it's already been in existence, and you are eating healthy and you've got a good exercise routine, but you just can't figure out how to manage this bar scene correctly. Maybe we've got some tips for you. Or you haven't been on track, you're trying to adopt new lifestyle, a new lifestyle, and you are now starting to eat better, and you are now starting to figure out your workout routine, and in the midst of that, you need to adopt a way to manage the bar scene. So I'm gonna go through several tips. I don't know, there's like 6 or 7. And my suggestion is that you pick a few out. Pick out 3 of these tips to start. If it's something that you have trouble with right now, and if these are gonna be some massive changes, pick 3 or 4 of these tips out to start. Set them as rules. You know how I love rules. If you've been following our posts, I love rules because I personally will abide by rules. So if you don't abide by rules, you got to figure out your own method. But set rules or set guidelines for yourself. And as you get used to these 3 or 4 that you've selected, now take on a new one. Now take on a new one. Now take on a new one until you feel like you're in a really, really good spot. So let me give you these rules. And to me, they make sense that the order that they're in, but not necessarily, it may not make sense for you. So the first tip or the first rule that you need to look at is to determine your maximum number of drinks before you ever go to the event. So whether you're in the hotel or you're at the office or you're at home and you're getting ready to go to whatever this event, whatever this meeting is, you need to determine your maximum number of drinks for that event or that entire night. Before you go, at this point, you've got clarity of thought, you can do some planning, you don't have peer pressure around, you can really kind of map out, okay, here's what the night's gonna look like. I'm gonna max myself out at 1 drink, or I'm gonna max myself out at 2 drinks, whatever that number is. If you're maxing yourself out at 8 drinks or 10 drinks, then there's no sense in that. So let's keep this number in the 1 or 2, or maybe it has to be 3 or whatever it is. Set your number And then do not waver. No budging, no exceptions. Stick by whatever number that you've determined once the night goes on. Okay, so that's rule number 1. Rule number 2, sip slowly and rotate water. The reason, there's a couple of reasons for that. Let's say you've set a 1 drink or a 2 drink max for this event that's going to be, 4 hours, 5 hours long, whatever it's going to be. So sipping slowly obviously is going to allow that drink to stay in front of you for a long time. One of the difficulties in managing the bar scene is when you are talking business over drinks or when you're out with colleagues, there's an understandable desire to always have a drink in front of you. It feels weird maybe to not have anything in front of you. And when you don't have anything in front of you, people are constantly asking, oh, let me get you a drink, let me get you a drink. Friends, colleagues, the waiter, waitress, they're all coming around, let me get you a drink. So you might want to have that drink in front of you constantly. So sipping slowly obviously allows you to nurse that drink along and make it last for a long, long time. Rotating water between. So maybe you've determined I'm gonna have 2 drinks tonight. So you sip slowly, you get a good 45 minutes, hour, however long you get out of that. Now the next drink is water and you also sip slowly and nurse that along. That is, extending that period of time that you have this drink in front of you, that you're not consuming a lot. It's also helping you stay hydrated. So there's a little healthy advantage to that, is to stay hydrated throughout the evening. The next tip is, and this is a rule that I don't have good knowledge about, but it's just kind of a gut feel for me, a rule of no beer. I read a lot and I hear a lot about how many calories beer has and how, beer can make you fat or whatever. I don't know. I haven't studied it enough, because I've also read some things that say out of the different alcoholic drinks, beer has the most vitamins and minerals in it. I don't get it, and I'm not going to research it enough to know for sure. So I just set myself a rule, or a rule can be set for you, of no beer. And then not only is there's the possibility that you're taking in more calories and maybe it's the unhealthiest of the different options, but also beer is better when it's really cold. And in order to consume it when it's cold, you've got to drink it a little faster. And it seems to be easier to drink faster. And so a lot of times when people are drinking beer, it's just natural for them to consume more because of the way that you drink beer. So just set a rule, no beer. And I think that it'll help you out through that evening. Another tip, and we all know this, we've all read it and heard it a lot, is maybe stick with red wine. Red wine has some great antioxidants in it, some other health benefits in it, and you even hear some studies that say one glass of red wine a night or 4 nights a week can be really great on your health. Again, I'm not a nutritionist and I haven't done enough research, but I do know there are some benefits to red wine. So if you are able to have 1 or 2 drinks in this long, in this 3, 4, 5 hour event, if it happened to be red wine, I think that it could be some great nutritional value too. So in addition, it's served room temperature typically, so you're not looking to chug it and drink it really fast so it doesn't, so it's still cold. And just kind of the nature of red wine, most people can't drink it very fast anyway. So it's kind of a nice one to have in front of you because it just is very natural to sip slowly and to let last for a long time. So try red wine. Okay, so maybe you've made yourself a rule, no beer, and you don't like red wine. So now what? Don't go to white wine. There's a ton of sugar and things in there, and you want it cold. So that's, and it doesn't have ice in it typically, so that hurts you. So now you're probably on to a mixed drink, a cocktail of some sort. So a couple of things, rules if you're going with a mixed drink. I have heard on a lot of occasions to stick with a clear liquor instead of a colored liquor, but I have read some things that say it doesn't really matter. So let's just pretend that it doesn't matter of what color the liquor is. I have read a lot and enough to believe it, that it starts to really pack on calories when you start mixing different liquors together. So some of the cocktails that have multiple liquors within that cocktail can be higher in calories and a lot less, or a lot more unhealthy. So maybe stick with whatever that cocktail drink is, that it only has 1 liquor in it, not like the Long Island iced tea or something like that that has a whole bunch of stuff in it. The big deal is the mixers. What are you mixing this alcohol with, or this liquor with? We want to stay away from soft drinks. So if you're a Jack and Coke fan, maybe some people say that switching it over to Diet Coke will kind of do the trick. I don't really know about that, but I think if you stick with fruit juices, you're on a lot better track, but not the artificial fruit juices. So not the stuff out of the jug or the can or the container, but actually like fresh squeezed lemon, lime, oranges, things like that. You want to stay away from the pre-mixed mixers, such as margarita mix or Bloody Mary mix, things like that. They're just packed with sugar. So stay away from that if you're going the route of cocktails. And the last thing is nothing frozen. I mean, I don't think you've seen a frozen drink that doesn't have some of those crazy mixers that are in there. So definitely stay away from the frozen drinks. I know that this session is a little bit of a downer because maybe that really canceled out maybe you love to go out and drink beer, or you love to go out and have margaritas. I get it. What we're trying to do here is we're trying to help you balance this fit, healthy lifestyle that you've come accustomed to or that you're growing into, and not let these business bar events really just kill the things that you've worked so hard for all week. I get a lot of questions, and I see a lot of people struggle with, man, I can really eat right and I can really exercise on a regular basis, but I'm always out with clients for drinks, and what do I do in that case? I'm struggling because I really like beer or I really like margaritas. So there are sacrifices that are going to be involved here, and you've really got to want it, and you've really got to try. So you can still participate if you choose to. Just limit that number of drinks to a reasonable amount, and then pick the drinks that are smart, that can still help you stay within your fit lifestyle and your healthy goals, so that you don't regret it that night or the next morning that, oh my gosh, I've been so great all week and I just destroyed it last night because of the 6 beers that I had, or the 4 margaritas I had, or whatever it might be. So this is really trying to help you in that business role where there's these events on a regular basis, find that balance of my healthy lifestyle and managing the scene, and not isolating myself by not showing up and whatever. So if you're choosing to participate, those are some great tips that you should try to start to adopt into your routine, and hopefully you'll be able to have a good time with clients, with colleagues, and be a part of the team, but still stay connected to your healthy lifestyle and your fitness goals. Thank you guys for following us. Please send us questions. Please send us comments. Any future topics that you would like to hear, we'd love to get those from you. You can send them to us send us a message on Instagram or Facebook at Fit1440. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll see you again next week.